Once upon a time, in a vibrant Nigerian village called Irumole, lived a woman named Omolara. Born into a family known for their skilled hands, she had a natural talent that no one could deny, her ability to craft perfection from chaos. But this wasn't in poetry, tailoring, or even cooking. Omolara was the best barber in the entire region, though very few knew her secrets. Growing up, Omolara's father, a barber himself, taught her how to wield the clippers with precision and patience. He even took her along to the back rooms of the palace, where he would trim the hair of noblemen and kings in secret. As Omolara grew older, her father's health began to decline, and soon the villager's famed barber left this world, passing his tools and talents to his only daughter. But there was a problem. Barbing was a man's trade, or so they believed. The villagers had a hard time accepting a woman in the craft. Despite her skill, Omolara faced constant ridicule and was dismissed as an outcast, especially by the older men in the community. Women don't have the hands for this work, they sneered. She was branded as the misfit of the village, but her passion remains undeterred. Words of Omolara's gifts soon traveled far and wide, reaching the ears of Oba Ayotunde, the powerful king of a neighboring kingdom. Ayotunde was known for his elegance, and his appearance held great symbolic importance to his people. He sent his messenger to see if this rumored female barber was indeed skilled. When Omolara welcomed the messenger into her small humble home, she treated him as she would any customer, with utmost respect and attention to detail. She worked on his hair carefully, studying the strands and angles, transforming his appearance with an expertise that stunned him. He left astonished and immediately reported back to the king. "Your Majesty, our hands are touched by the gods." The next day, Omolara was summoned to the palace. She was led through the golden gates, past towering statues, and into the inner chamber of the Oba. Her heart pounded in her chest, her palms sleek with nervousness. No one, not even her father, had dared to walk on a king's hair. But Ayotunde was impressed, and he sat before her, a silent approval for her to begin her work. With hands that hid her shaking, Omolara began her task, her fingers moving with grace and mastery. As she walked, her confidence returned, and she found herself conversing softly with the Oba, who surprisingly welcomed her company. By the time she was finished, the Oba looked at his reflection, his eyes wide with satisfaction. "You have a gift, Omolara," he said, gratitude gleaming in his tone. "Few men can match your touch, and you are not even a man." Omolara could hardly contain her pride. If only the villagers knew, she thought as she bowed down and left the palace that day. After that encounter, Omolara's clientele changed dramatically. Nobles, royalties, and the wealthiest men from far-off kingdoms began seeking her services, always in secret. No one in the village knew. They continued to ignore her, sneering and dismissing her talents. Her only solace was that her gift had finally found its place, even if it was hidden behind closed doors. But as her fame spread in whispers, envy and suspicion began brewing among some village elders. They noticed her prosperity, her improved wardrobe, her small but new jewelry, and her expanding little shop. Where does she get her wealth? They asked in darkened corners, jealousy listened in their voices. Perhaps she is practicing some dark arts. One fateful day, the village council gathered. Omolara was summoned before them, her heart sinking as she sensed the confrontation ahead. Omolara, the eldest of them, began, his voice edged with disdain. "Tell us the truth. How does a woman earn so much in a trade she couldn't even be in?" A tense silence filled the air. Omolara knew that if she revealed her secret, it would only make matters worse. Instead, she answered softly, "My work speaks for itself. My hands earn what they deserve." But they were unsatisfied and threatened to banish her from the village. "You have until tomorrow to confess your dark dealings, or you will leave this village for good," they declared. That night, as Omolara sat in her shop, wondering what to do, she heard faint rustle of footsteps outside. She rose cautiously, her heart racing, only to find the familiar face of Oba Ayotunde messenger. "Omolara, the king wishes to see you at once," he whispered urgently. Omolara quickly followed the messenger to the palace, where Oba Ayotunde awaited her in the grand hall, surrounded by his advisors. He had heard of the Great Council's decision and was outraged at the injustice. The Oba had grown fond of Omolara's character and skills, and he knew it was time to end her suffering. The next morning, Oba Ayotunde, dressed in his finest robes, arrived in Irumole with his royal guards. He made a grand entrance, demanding the council to gather the entire village at the center square. Curious and nervous, the villagers gathered, whispering among themselves. Oba Ayotunde called Omolara to his side and spoke with a voice that rang out across the crowd. "This woman," he declared, "has been a blessing not only to me, but to nobles across the land. Her hands have crafted perfection for kings, yet we treat her with disdain." The crowd gasps, stunned by the revelation. The elders, who had doubted her, hung their heads in shame as they realized their grave mistake. They had ridiculed a woman who had earned the respect of kings, her only crime being a woman in a man's trade. Omolara would no longer be treated as an outcast, the Oba commanded. She is to be honored and respected, for she has served kings, and from today she will serve this village openly. With her head held high, Omolara returned to her shop that day, greeted with the respect she had long deserved. She continued her work with pride, now openly serving the villagers and royalty alike. As her shop flourished, Omolara employed and trained other young women, showing them that no dream was too bold, no craft too scared for a woman. The elders, humbled by their misjudgments, watched her rise with silent admiration, and the villagers finally began to understand the strength in her hands and the courage in her hearts. And so, Omolara became known as the Barber of kings and nobles, a title whispered in reverence across kingdoms. Thank you so much for watching some amazing tales on Mystic Tales TV at Mystic Tales Africa. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel and even like and comment, as it means so much to us and the team, and it helps us create more amazing videos such as this for you and your household. We love you. Until our next video, we say bye bye.